It's easy to forget. In the midst of the hustle and bustle of Christmas, it can be easy to forget the very one we're celebrating. Instead of making Jesus the central focus, often we subconsciously push him to the periphery, lost and nearly forgotten in all the details of making a memorable Christmas. When I get distracted like that, I love to read the story of Wally Purling, first published by Guidepost Magazine. This classic Christmas tale never fails to bring me back to the manger and the true reason for the season. The story goes like this. Whenever Christmas pageants are talked about in a certain little town in the Midwest, someone is sure to mention the name of Wally Purling. Wally's performance in the annual nativity play has slipped into the realm of legend. But old-timers who were there that night, they never tire of recalling exactly what happened. Wally was 9 and in the 2nd grade, though he should have been in the 4th. Most people in town knew that he had difficulty keeping up. Still, Wally was well liked by the other children, all of whom were smaller than he. Wally was a helpful boy, always willing and smiling, and the protector, paradoxically, of the underdog. If the older boys chased the younger ones away, it would be Wally who'd say, "Can't they stay? They're no bother." When it came time for the Christmas pageant, Wally fancied the idea of being a shepherd. But the play's director assigned him a more important role. After all, she reasoned, the innkeeper didn't have too many lines, and Wally's size would make his refusal of lodging to Joseph all the more forceful. And so it happened that the usual audience of parents and family and townspeople gathered for the yearly extravaganza of shepherds' crooks and crushes, of beards, crowns, halos, and a whole stageful of squeaky voices. No one on stage or off was more caught up in the magic of the night than Wally Purling. They said later that he stood in the wings and watched the performance with such fascination that the director had to make sure he didn't wander on stage before his cue. Then the time came. Joseph appeared slowly, tenderly guiding Mary to the door of the inn. Joseph knocked hard on the wooden door set into the painted backdrop. Wally, the innkeeper, was there waiting. "What do you want?" Wally said, swinging the door open with an impatient gesture. "We seek lodging," Joseph said. "Seek it elsewhere," Wally spoke vigorously. "The inn is filled." "But sir, we have asked everywhere in vain. We have traveled far and are very weary." "There is no room in the inn for you." Wally looked properly stern. "Please, good innkeeper, this is my wife, Mary. She is heavy with child and needs a place to rest. Surely you must have some small corner for her. She is so tired." Now, for the first time, the innkeeper relaxed his stiff stance and looked down at Mary. With that, there was a long pause. Long enough to make the audience a bit tense with embarrassment. "No, be gone," the prompter whispered. "No," Wally repeated automatically. "Be gone." Joseph sadly placed his arm around Mary, and Mary laid her head upon her husband's shoulder as the two of them started to move away. The innkeeper, however, did not return inside the inn. Instead, Wally stood there in the doorway, watching the forlorn couple. His mouth was open, his brow creased with concern, his eyes filling unmistakably with tears. And suddenly, this Christmas pageant became different from all the others. "Don't go, Joseph," Wally called out. "Bring Mary back." And Wally Purling's face grew into a bright smile as he said, "You can have my room." Some people thought that the pageant had been ruined. Yet there were others, many, many others, who considered it the most Christmas of all Christmas pageants they had ever seen. When I read this story, I'm reminded that making room for Jesus requires effort on our part, as well as some sacrifice. But when we go off script and respond wholeheartedly like Wally did, Jesus responds with his presence and love, especially when we throw open our arms wide and invite him in as Wally did. You can have my room, Jesus. I want all of you in all of me. What a wonderful Christmas gift to give to the one who's given us everything. Merry Christmas, my friend.